Okay, hello and welcome to part 3 of the video build series for the Star Trek the Motion Picture Vulcan Shuttle sewer rack. Now, the last time I left you, I was just finishing up doing the bottom of the sled, and as we can see, that I've got all the filler all nice and smoothed out. Excuse the wires because they're just being temporarily moved about just to make sure everything still works. Put the filler panel in, and also just put a few little greeblies from sort of various little kits that I've had over the years, little bits in the spares box, so that'll hopefully sort of just liven it up just a little bit, just to make that a little bit more busy. What we'll do now is we'll carry on and start thinking about putting the lighting in onto the engines. Fitted the rest of the parts to the shuttle itself, the two side panels and also the docking ring. Just got some filler there that obviously where the two joins, I'll get that all sanded down, but yeah, everything's still working fine. And as you can see, the magnet still works, she's not coming off. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll move on and go on to the engines, so we'll be right back. Okay, right, moving on, and while stopping off camera, I've done a few things. First off was to attach the inboard parts of the nacelles to the sled. Doing so, what I've done was actually just tape the nacelles together, put them in the positions, and then glued the inboard parts to the pylons. Okay, and once they were dry, so that they're in the right angle, and then just be able to take those back off again, so that now we can then work in on the position of the marker lights and the rear engine LEDs. I've already put a groove in, as you can see, on the ends here and on the outer as well. There we go. Now, to make those happen, what I've done is got some 3mm LEDs, filed the front of it flat, drilled a hole, and then put some fibre optic in. Used a bit of shrink wrap just to make everything sort of nice and neat. And then what we'll do is we'll chase that through. I won't actually glue these in because I need them to move, so that once everything has all been glued and painted up, the actual fibre optic will have actually come out, way out, so that it doesn't matter if it gets covered in paint. And then what I will do is I will then cut it and then sort of melt the end over to make an actual dome, and then push it back in so that everything moves back, and then super glue those together. So I made 2 of those, and also we've got to put the make the holes and the position for the orange LEDs for the rear impulse engines. Now, I've also done the rear grills for the impulse engines, if you can just make those out. Some acetate, and scored some grooves in, and then painted those grooves in with some black Tamiya paint, so that will give us our grill work. And then effectively what they'll do right towards the end is that these will actually fit inside, be glued into place, and then provide the grill pattern. Now, I may actually put a bit of clear orange on the back of these. We'll see how well the actual orange LED lights them up, but if not, then they can just have a thin coat of white behind them, just to sort of help diffuse a little bit, so there's no hot spots. Now, okay, what we'll do now is we'll move on and start thinking about putting in the wiring for the LEDs, mounting them all up and soldering them together. Okay, and we'll be right back. Okay, right, so we've managed to get the lights into the engines now, into the nacelles. As you can make out, the running lights are on. Okay, and everything is working still on top of the shuttle. So if I take this off, put that to one side, you can still see that the flashing navigation light at the front, that's also working, and also at the rear. Now basically what we've done, if I can just turn this up, is place the orange LED at the back, put a resistor in, because I found that once everything was lit up, this was taking more power than anything else, so that was then killing the running lights and also everything else. So I put a resistor in, and as you can see, I can just get that in the camera there, that's all nice and bright, and just put an end cap on that side just to show you. There we go. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll button up these, we'll glue these in properly. Just to say, I've just done this just as a quick demonstration, but I've left room so that the actual fibre optic can go in and out, and I'll do the same with this one on this side as well. So yeah, so it's coming along very nicely. Still got to put a panel, just a thin panel on the top of the flashing LED there, just to stop that from flashing too far up on the top surface. But yeah, it's all looking good. Okay, right. Well, we've managed to glue the cells on. As you can see, there's a lot of clamps on here at the moment. Basically, these were not fitting too well at all. Found that there was a lot of gaps where I assume that the mould is buckled when it's come out of, or the actual plastic is buckled when it's come out of the mould. So a lot of force was used to, especially on this side here, which you can see it's got a massive clamp on it. Still a little bit of a gap there, but we'll get to address all these gaps with some filler, especially on this side as well. We can make out just there. Also found that it was slightly bowing out or kicking in on this side. Where are we? Let's get in on the camera. This side was kicking inwards, and that was to do with one of the support pieces inside here was actually touching the inside part of the moulding for the grill, which is there. So managed to cut that and sort of force that over, and then glue it all into place. So hopefully when we take off the clamps, we should have engines that are straight and true, and then it should sit quite flat on the desk, which it does, which is quite good. Now there's a lot of seam work that needs to be done. I've got them closed up as best I can, but there is large sort of overhangs or overlays which hopefully will just file down. Some will probably need a little bit of filling. May have to do something on these panels here. May have to sort of flatten those and then maybe just stick another piece of styrene over the top there just to help them out. But yeah, we're getting there, and everything is still working okay. Let's get a little bulb, a little battery, and as we can see, there we go, everything's still working. Flashing light at the top, and also the running lights as well. So that's all looking good. So what I'll do now is I'll start to address the seams. First of all, sand them down, see how they look. If needed to be attacked with a little bit of filler, then we'll do so, and then we'll carry on. Okay, right. Well, after about an hour or so of sanding and filing and reprofiling the seams, we've got most of them done pretty well. The fact that I put plenty of plastic weld in the joints before actually squeezing them together with the clamps has helped. Just a very faint line on some of it, and then on other bits we've had to put the filler in there, and a few bits on the bottom as well. But all in all, she's managed to sort of come out quite nice. So what we'll do now is we'll let that dry overnight, and we'll give that a sand tomorrow and see how she looks. Okay, right, we'll carry on. Okay, right, well, as we can see, we've made a bit of a jump here. What you can actually see now is everything has all been light blocked in flat black. I dressed all the seam lines where the putty had to go, and she's all looking all nice and smooth. What I've done is I've put mask oil on the front and the rear LEDs so that they don't get covered in paint, and sprayed the whole ship with flat black, so that when we do put the actual top coat on, there won't be a variation in shade, so that just where I've actually light blocked areas, that won't appear darker than the rest. Also on the actual crew cab itself, I blended in the line where the docking ring had joined together. That's all looking all nice. Also applied a very thin white, flat white, over the lenses, and then put the masks over the top, so that then we can then light block the rest. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll make up some custom paint, and what I will do is I will test the colour on the bottom first to see whether it'll actually darken up with the actual flat black underneath it. If it does, then what we'll do is we'll go over with a silver first to help lightening it up, but we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, yes, we'll call this a video for now. It's now coming up to Christmas, and so things will be a little bit sort of haphazard, and may not be as regular as it was. But otherwise, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Keep liking, keep subscribing, and if you've got any comments, tips, or anything at all you'd like to say, leave it in the comment box below, and I'll see you hopefully before or just after the new year. And be good to each other. Go and make a model. See you for now.